Today's video is an excerpt from the March 20th Technology Committee meeting. The committee spent time reviewing the data from our school's technology needs assessment. We chose 3 ISTE standards based on that data and our school's current use of technology. So this is the process for developing our school technology plan. We are here at 2. And we will need to begin implementation this spring, and we'll be ready in August, as I feel we should be, starting the year off knowing what our goal is and what is expected. So today we will go through the 3 standards and how these standards might look in each grade level. At the end of the presentation, I would like for you to pick your top 2. As you're going through these standards, I'd like for you to think about your student's needs for a bit. So how do you feel about your students? What do they need to focus on the most? Then consider the school's needs, because we're choosing a school-wide goal. So also, I want you to consider the primary levels as well, because sometimes we forget about the abilities of kindergartners and Sure Start kids. And then I want you to think about what you would like to learn more about. And these goals will also drive our PD for technology. So the first is innovative designer. And this is the 4th ISTE standards. We are looking at the design process to identify and solve problems. So students are not regurgitating facts, and they're actually using them to solve problems and using technology along the way to assist. So what does this look like? And let's take a look. So early primary, we're thinking kindergarten, Sure Start kindergarten first, beginning of 1st grade. That's when they're using technology to solve problems, to create artifacts. So students show perseverance. They're not crying. They're showing that they can try, and they're using that like positive thinking. So, and they're also introduced to the design process. Now, primary, they're using the design process to solve problems or complete challenges. And for upper, the learners are given frequent opportunities to use the design process. And so you might see this in robotics. You're going to see this in coding, STEM activities, your FOSS activities, project-based learning, Genius Hour, Makerspace. So you'll definitely see an innovative designer. And you can add these types of activities within your classroom. So our data shows that, this is in my way, but the data shows that, and our first question was asked, are students using technology to ask questions or to look for answers? And here you see the yellow and the red is somewhat disagree and strongly disagree. So these are the disagrees. Okay. And these, the blue and the green, are the agrees. So here we have use the design process to solve problems. So we're about 25%. And use technology to reflect and revise, a little bit under 25%. And apparently we're doing pretty good in perseverance, as we have about maybe 15%. But it looks like we're doing pretty strong. And I can tell you from looking at all the data, we graded ourselves very high. I don't know, it could possibly be many reasons for doing this, but it is what it is. So, and this is the school only, our data and all of it put together. Okay, so now we have ISTE standard number 6. And this is Creative Communicator, and this is where we look at how students are using technology to show their thinking. So what does a creative communicator look like? In primary, we're going to say kindergarten or sure start to about second grade. So the learners are using painting and drawing programs, audio and video to show thinking. They're creating ebooks and presentations, and they're publishing and presenting their content. They might also have a digital portfolio or some type of collection online, and they can share their learning. They can share what they've learned and their goals by using some type of technology. Now the upper grades we're looking at the end of second or the beginning of third. They're actually using transformational sources like Flipgrid, stop motion, short videos, podcasts to create and deliver original works. So in third grade, they begin to use email, messaging, and other tools to share information and communicate ideas with each other. And they might be using audience response tools. So we call these like Kahoot or Nearpod or Smart Online Suite, or those back channels that we would use to create some type of discourse. And then they're definitely choosing the appropriate platform. So this is how we graded ourselves. If you notice, we did pretty good. Students are selecting the right tools. Apparently everyone's creating using technology, which I agree. And they're able to communicate their learning clearly with technology, and their audience is varied. Okay. This is all in all. The last is global collaborator, and we should ask ourselves, what is the extent of collaboration here at Ikego? So when you're looking at this, I want you to think about the extent of collaboration. Think about, what does collaboration look like with technology? Do students feel safe to share or contribute in groups? Are there opportunities where kids can work together? And do you work with other students at other schools or in other countries? So are you working globally, doing any kind of collaborative work that way? And then who is actually seeing your students? This is funny. Who's actually seeing your students' work? Is it mainly peers, parents, or do you share globally? Okay. So what does a global collaborator look like? Early primary, students are working in small groups to achieve the same goal. Maybe they're creating a classroom book, or students are creating a newsletter, or they're pair programming, which we mean like maybe they're using Hour of Code, which first graders can use Hour of Code. We've even seen some kindergartners be successful at that. But maybe you decide you want to put them in pairs. You have a driver and you have someone there to help along the way, and they're working to solve a problem online. Or maybe your class is using Google Hangouts or other type of collaboration tools, such as video conferencing, to connect with others. Maybe you're inviting an author into your classroom, or someone, some expert. And then primary and upper, maybe students are using Schoology, Google App Site, or Clever to access class pages. So you've had that set up. And they're accessing class calendars and portfolios and their grades regularly. You could be using Wixie, Google Apps, and other collaborative workspaces to complete assignments. And maybe they're using virtual world and gaming tools to work collaboratively towards common goals. And when we say collaborate, we mean they're working together on the same problem. They're not having different documents. They're actually maybe working on the same document, or if they do have a document, they're inviting their peers to take a look at it for editing purposes or feedback. So this is how we graded ourselves. Pretty good. So use technology to interact with each other. It's under 25%. Use technology to connect with experts and community members. And almost half of us didn't feel like we met that goal. And students determine group roles based on knowledge of technology and content. So maybe this is where we see kids interacting in groups. Maybe they're struggling to find out where they fit in and understanding and reflecting on their abilities. So about 40%. And then here we have students work together to investigate and develop solutions to real world problems. So students are actually, and you see this is pretty good. I think this is very good. Students are actually doing some problem-based or project-based learning. So not bad. So now I would like for you to click here to vote on the goals that you feel our school should focus on. And I'm going to send that link to you. It's very simple. Think about these 3 goals or these 3 standards. First standard was innovative designer. Second is, I believe, creative communicator. And the third is global collaborator. And choose 2. Just 2. And if you're interested in taking a technology course for graduate credit, hopefully either the end of spring and through the summer, let me know and send that as soon as possible. Thank you.